everyone, Miss Art Garden here, and today we're going to do a let's paint of Loki from the Thor movies slash Norse mythology. Oh my. Norse mythology. There we go. Nailed it. So first I'm just going to kind of draw the cranium circle guide. I kind of drew this horizontal guide a little sketchy, or a little, and I'm just going to kind of draw on the face then. And Loki's got kind of pointed features, at least Tom Hiddleston does, who I'm kind of basing his look off of, so we're just going to kind of go with it. I always draw that ear in. But so you draw that, the circle, guidelines, jaw shape, and then I'm going to draw in these eyes. And just kind of sketch in the shape of them. I went and saw the new Thor Ragnarok movie with my sister over Thanksgiving weekend, and yeah, I thought it was she really liked it. It wasn't quite as good as I was hoping it to be, but I enjoyed it. If you guys have seen it, if you've liked it, let me know what your thoughts were. And so we're just going to kind of keep drawing this. So we'll draw his nose is very kind of straight and severe, and I guess hawkish might be the term you would use. And just kind of sketch in a shape there. That looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna bring this out a bit. He'll need a little more room. I mean, you can picture the nostril would be kind of over here and going in, just like that. And then we'll draw in the mouth shape. Let's kind of draw him so he's sort of half smiling. And then we'll draw in his bottom lip there. It looks a little strange for now. We're just kind of drawing in the features. I think I'm going to transform this and just move it down a little bit. So there we go. And we're just going to kind of keep working on this face until we're happy with the sketch. Okay, so I just kind of refined these features a little bit. And we'll just draw on the ear, top of the eyes, bottom of the nose, the usual ear kind of length, and then you can kind of draw in some of the little details if you want. I'm going to kind of work on this nose a little bit. Just kind of keep working it. Let's draw in the rest of his eye features, and then we'll draw on the hair. So let's have him looking right at the audience over here. Then we can draw in like the little crease of the eye. Let's give him some kind of like, like he's raising his eyebrow curiously. And this other one could just kind of sit right above his eye here. And then his forehead shape, I'm going to fix this a little bit. It goes up like that. He'll have some hair. Let's just kind of sketch it in lightly. I'm going to shrink his head just a bit. And I'm going to move this jaw out just while I see it. Because I think that jaw needs to go out just a little bit. There we go. Back up to here, back to the hair. So he has kind of like, typically it's usually kind of pulled back. So we'll just sort of draw in, some strands here, and then the rest will go down here. And I guess before I draw on the rest of his hair, I actually want to kind of draw in his shoulders and stuff. So we'll draw on his shoulders like this. He usually has some armor that goes up and around like that. He's got like I'm kind of looking at a couple different outfits he wears. They're all kind of similar. So like that, and that is this like undershirt. And then he'll have kind of this jacket that comes around here. I guess I should. And we'll just kind of add this shape here. Now we can finish drawing in the hair. He's got kind of wavy, dark hair. There we go. So let's flip it real quick, and then we're going to move on. I don't see anything, so I think we can just go on to painting it, and then you'll make a lot of adjustments as you paint. This is mostly the reference on where things go. I tend to draw it kind of like a cartoony style and then paint a little bit more realistic. So now I'm going to open a new layer. Name it color, but you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to change the background color. I'm going to hit Command U. Just kind of mess around with, I tend to like kind of darkish like that. That looks pretty good. Go back to color, and we're kind of pick like a skin color. So we're going to start in the shadows. So I'm going to pick kind of more of this color, and I'm going to turn my hardness up to maybe 38. turn my opacity all the way up. I think I'm going to turn my hardness more up to like 78. Yeah, that's better. I think that's a little bit too dark to start with. I'm going to want some room to push the shadows. So I'm going to bring it up like that. And you can't even see that against the background that I picked. Well, let's color it in and then I'll fix the background. Okay, and that'll just make it easier for us to see. As you can see, oops, I kind of laid this all out in random. And it's fine if you go out, because you're going to go in now and do the hair and the clothes colors. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we've blocked in the colors right now. I'm not really quite sure why my brush is not putting this down like it's sort of opaque. I don't know why it's doing that. I must have messed with some setting, but I can't mess with it right now. So we're just going to keep going, and if you guys, hopefully your brushes aren't acting up on you. Okay, as you can see, I didn't add the hair all the way out to the sketch layer because I'm going to want to go in on another hair layer later above this. So you can hide the sketch layer if you want and do like a quick, you know, like reshaping, make sure the face and everything is how you like it. So we have that looks pretty good. And I'm going to go and add some shadows and some lighter areas. And we'll start with the shadows on the skins. So let's go in here. We're going to pick, I'm going to make this a little redder. I'm going to pick a shadowy color like that. That looks good. I'm going to turn my opacity down to 45. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to turn my hardness down a little bit too, to like 60. And then I'm going to go in for real, even though I said that like 6 times, and just kind of add some shadowy looks to this. Like so. Anywhere that there's going to be shadow, like he's got some around the nose area. He's got some, like, you know, I guess you'd call them creases, skin creases around his nose. And this looks kind of silly right now. It just kind of looks, but if you look in this like preview, or if maybe you guys are looking from a smaller phone window, you can kind of see that from a distance, it kind of helps bring in the shading. So we're going to kind of go through this area on the neck. It's all going to be a little bit darker underneath here. We'll add some shading in the ear area. And then we'll add some shades under the hair line. Pretty good. So we've got some dark shades there. Now we're going to go in and add some generalized. I'm going to soften my hardness a little bit more. And I'm going to add some generalized shadows. I'm going to make them a little bit redder, I think. Just like that. And kind of go around anywhere, like, you know, just to really push the dynamics of the shadows a little bit. So, you know, under the mouth area, this whole cheek area, I think, and around the eyes for sure. This corners of the eyes catch a lot of shadows. And you just kind of, it's okay to be messy. I have a tendency to like to put things down messy and then kind of clean them up later rather than obsess over putting them down perfectly the first time. I have kind of I had to learn a little bit that you can't be perfect, so you just kind of go with what you can, and then it'll work itself out in the end. So we're kind of doing this around the sketch layer, so eventually we can hopefully take the sketch layer away. Kind of keep pushing the shapes and shadows, and I'm going to trace over the eyes and the nose, and then I am going to just hide the sketch layer. Let's change the opacity down to like 27, and we're going to go in now, and the eye area, we'll kind of go in here. We're just going to kind of work on that shadow area here and here. And the nose, we're going to kind of work on this. Going to add the little darkness here and the little darkness around the nostril. And then I guess the lips too as well. So we'll go ahead and add this in just like so. And a little bit, we've already kind of got that. So now we can just remove the sketch layer, I think. Maybe I'm going to work on this ear area, which has lost some of its kind of shape. Just a little touch, and then I will probably just kind of give up on that sketch layer. It's outlived its purpose. So we're going to move on, and I'm going to hide that sketch layer. I'm going to do a quick save, and I'm going to keep working in the shadow. So I'm going to take the side of his nose here. We'll have a little bit of a shadow in kind of this area. And then this little area will be light. I'm going to push the light on this cheek a bit, but for now we'll just kind of leave it. I think I'm going to move on and do some shadows on his clothes and hair as well. So I'm going to pick his hair color, and then I'm gonna make it darker. My opacity like down to 23. And I'm just gonna work in these colors. In fact, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this on the color layer, and then when we've worked some of these in, I'm gonna make a new layer for the hair. But let's work on just kind of adding some shadows and textures. Okay, so now I'm going to do a Command-Shift-N and do a hair layer. And I'm just going to kind of go through, I'm going to turn my opacity up and turn my hardness up, or make it harder. And I'm just going to go through and add some kind of wispiness to the hair around this area so it's not such a blocked in color look. Give the hair a little bit more texture and interest and all the good things. I've noticed something when I was working that the face is a little bit out of whack. So I'm gonna hit Command T, which will transform it, and then hit Warp. And I'm actually just gonna move the whole thing up just a little bit. So before, after. Mostly I just wanted these eyes to match up and the whole face shape just a little bit better. And I'm just gonna move this line out here, and I'm gonna redefine this jaw a little bit better. Going in here. And kind of like that. So there we have that kind of blocked in look. And while we're on the hair, or let's get the hair layer real quick. And one thing I forgot to do, I'm gonna add some eyebrows. Let's bring the sketch layer back. I wanted these eyebrows to go like up like that, and then this one's to go down like so. And we can see that. Looks a little bit more like he's got an expression now, which is good. So now we're going to, I never put any shadows down here. So I guess I'm just gonna hit black, get kind of a shade here, do the tricky, sneaky shade, move it down like that. There we go. But we'll do some shadows here where the light would be catching it. We'll say the light catches here, but not here in the corner. And this will be a shoulder, so I'll do it kind of like that. Just kind of some messy blocked in shadows, and that'll go under like that and like that. And so when you're doing the shadows later, part of what helps differentiate between the shadows and the normal things is having like an edge of highlighted light to kind of help, and I'll go through that later. But for now, I'm gonna move my hardness down and my opacity down. We're going to work on adding some highlights. So I'm going to go to Color Dodge. I'm going to kind of pick sort of a highlighted skin tone I like. And then I'm going to go in, actually I'm going to turn my opacity way down to like 6. And I'm going to go in and just kind of work in these highlights. So, the light will come from this side as I typically make it. I guess I should work on making these a little bit different, these videos. I've done a lot of them where they face this way, but yeah, we'll just kind of add in some of these shadows and just kind of work them in. And this color dodge technique kind of, I don't know how to explain it, gives it a light saturated look to it. So we're just going to kind of push in some of these highlights, and we're just going to kind of keep going over and over and really push them into certain areas and just keep working them in. So we have kind of these base of shadows and these base of highlights, and we'll keep working those as we go along. So I'm going to change my opacity back up to like 28 and change it back to normal. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to work on individual features a little bit more. So let's start with the eyes, and I'm going to kind of pick up these colors, these a little bit lighter, and work them in. You don't want super white eyes. You'll want kind of like these grayish pale skin color eyes. And I'm going to kind of work on reshaping these a bit. They look a bit off. So I'll go down like that, and then this one will come down like so. And this one will go out and then down, oops, reshape that, pick up the other color next to it and kind of so-called erase it. It's looking kind of menacing now. We'll add in his green eyes here. So we'll pick just kind of this green color and kind of sketch them in where you want them to be. And there's something a little bit crooked about these, so I'm going to work on duplicate layer, create a clipping mask, and then I'm going to select this eye, feather it by 10, hit Command T or free transform, and just kind of change this so it's a little bit less oddly cross-eyed. And then we'll have to fix this one as well. He looks a little bit funny with his eyes, so we're going to work on him a little bit more. So I'm going to merge the layer and then duplicate, create clipping mask. Let's work on these eye shapes. They're looking a little bit off. So I'm going to pick just the black color and kind of go in and bring that up and bring that down and kind of bring this around. There's a little pinch of the eye there, and then it goes down, and then this comes out a little bit more. And I'm just going to pick up these colors around it as I kind of mark on it. It's kind of a way of sketching. And while we're at it, I'm going to make a little slight change to his nose. Feather. Transform. We're going to bring it up just a little bit. So it's just out a little bit too much. And then one last thing, I'm going to move his eyebrow. Okay, now we'll go back to the color layer. I'm going to go ahead and merge it. So let's just kind of finish up a little bit more on these eyes. We're going to add a nice little highlight at the corner, where the eyes tend to have a little highlight. A little shadow here. And we'll mark in these eyes here like so. I think sometimes when you get stuck on something, you can't figure out what's wrong with it. So I'm going to do one little transform on this eye again, and then I'm going to move on. And we're just going to go ahead now and feature in the nose. So we're going to work in this, I'm going to turn my hardness up a bit here. As I do this, work in like a shadowy area here. Pick a darker color. I'll work in kind of a shadowy area here for the nose, and it'll go under the eyes as well. And we'll work under a shadow under this eye. There's a lot of shadows under the eyes. Okay, I'm going to go hair layer, and I'm going to just move this eyebrow a bit. It's a little too low. I don't really need to feather it. Let's just move it up like that. Erase some of this. There we go. We're going to just go back to this color layer. And I'm going to pick a lighter color, push these highlights around here a little bit more. Okay, and I'm just adding a quick little highlight around the nose area here. Show where the bottom of the nose is. It looks a little weird now because we've got to work it in with a little darker color, which we're doing now. It's looking pretty good. Add a little bit of highlight here, and let's go ahead and put in some lip color. So I'm just going to kind of make this beige, or I mean this pinkish color, and add a little bit of hint of lips. There's that, and then we'll add some shadows. This will go under here. Just like so, and then we're going to bring this in here, and then bring the shadow down. Just like that. So we have the shadow right under the lip, curls up here, and then goes down, and then you can kind of blend this area in a bit. He might have just a touch of a circular area on the chin here. We're just going to kind of work in a little tiny bit. Just kind of a hint of it. We're going to almost blend it out. Just like so. And it's going to be a little rougher blending than usual because my brush is messed up. I need to work on the setting for it, but I think it's fine. There's a lot of different styles out there. It doesn't have to be smooth. I think this kind of like lends to a comic booky style. So I'm going to work on this ear a little bit because it's getting pretty ignored here. I'm going to add some highlighted area here and here, and then down around here, I guess. And I'm going to add some shadow area right under there. I'm going to pick this color up here and here. And then I'm going to add kind of a shadow area where the ear meets the thing and a little bit of light on the very edge. There we go. And I'm going to make a real dark area here for the ear hole. And a little bit lighter area here where the ear part sticks up. And that's just kind of blocked in. It's not a perfect ear, but it looks good enough for now. I'm going to work on making these shadows over here a little bit darker. Bring this shadow or this highlight here. Alright, so now I think I've worked on some other stuff and I can go back to, I'm doing a duplicate layer, creating clipping mask. I can go back to these eyes. What's wrong with them is just they're just too big. So I'm going to select them, feather, and I'm going to squint them in a bit like that. Now I'm going to go into, I still don't like the eyes, and I think this jaw needs to come down a little bit. So I'm going to go into Filter, Liquify. Just ignore the transparency part of it. My brush isn't putting down full pigment. I'm going to bring his chin down. So I have this smudge tool, as you can see, and I'm just going to kind of work his chin down. And then I'm going to work on these eyes a bit. And his mouth is a little bit crooked. Let's take a look. So here's it before and here's it after, just with those changes. And you can decide if you like them or not. I'm going to stick with them. Now I'm just going to kind of blend in everything. I'm going to probably turn my opacity down a little bit. Blend in some of these shadow areas. This one I wanted to kind of go up around here. Bring those down and just kind of go through like a light area here where the mouth might be catching. And then kind of blend that in. I'm going to put some shadows in here, along with just kind of make a furrow look. So around these eyebrow areas, put some shadows in here. This is where I smudged it, so we'll want to fix that up a little bit. I'm picking this red color up and I'll add it into the corner of the eyes. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit of red just in the face here. I'm going to go to overlay. I'm going to turn my opacity down to like 5. And I'm going to pick kind of this reddish orange color and add around his eyes. Kind of give them more of a lively look under his nose for sure. Over his lips, give them a little bit more of a color. A little bit on his chin, definitely over his ear here. And just kind of wherever you think you could use a little more saturation and vibrant color. And then I'm going to do, since I'm here and I think it adds a nice little thing, I'm going to put some blue in the highlights here and here, one down here. And this just kind of gives the skin kind of a more complex look. We'll add some green too while we're at it. Go over here. Here on this side of his nose, over here. Okay, and then I think we're done with that, so we'll go back to normal. We'll go to opacity 26. Okay, and so then we're going to pick a color. I'm going to work on this neck and the clothes a little bit next, so let's pick kind of a darkish color for the neck. That'll be good. And we're just going to work that in. I actually want just like a little tiny highlight here where like the light's catching his neck here, and this just kind of emphasizes like the Adam's apple area and stuff. So I won't do too crazy. That's probably good enough. And we'll just kind of work in some of these shadows we did for the clothes. Let's pick up this color and bring it in here. Kind of separate the cloth from the skin, sort of say, and then we'll just kind of blend in those shadows so they're not super obvious. The cloth might stick up a bit here, so let's pick kind of a shadowy color followed by a lighter color. That lighter color will just kind of catch the light a little bit, and then it kind of just looks like, you know, the cloth is being pinned up a little bit more. Okay, and we'll do the same over here. And we'll just pick up a nice little bit lighter color and kind of highlight out where the edges are. Just like that. And that we're not going to go, I'm not going to do too much of this. I want to keep these videos short, as I've said. So we're just going to kind of emphasize this. And if you guys want to go in at the end and add some nice little details and stuff to really make them stand out, that is something you can do. Let's see, I'm going to add a little darkness under the hair here. And we'll just like a little light catch there. Actually, let's color dodge thing here. We'll pick kind of a nice little yellow and it'll just kind of really highlight that little area here. Just the very tips of this thing here. And a little bit over here. Oops, I don't want that to go that far out. Just like it's catching a bit. We're going to turn this way down. And we're just going to kind of brighten this while we have this all set up like this and this. And we can even go to color burn with the black and add this in and give this a little bit more of a darker thing. Just like that. So that's before and after. And you just kind of push those values a little bit more. You can do multiply and you just can mess around. Color multiply won't saturate it quite as much. So let's add a little bit more multiply, so that's before, after, and around here too. Okay, so then he looks like he's a little bit more in the shadows there. And while we have multiply on, we'll just add a little bit darker area on this side of the hair. We can go back to color dodge or overlay or whatever you want, and just kind of push the light. We'll go up to hair and do this a little bit here too. Just little tiny touches that will work them in. Make it so he's well lit. And then we can add a few, turn our brush way down and add a few little highlights here just while we're here. Just while we have this all set up. Take advantage of it and we'll work those in. Okay? I'll go back to color. The color. I'm going to blow this up. So I'm going to go back to normal, turn my opacity down. I'm just going to kind of work on shaping this area. First of all, I think I'm going to turn. I didn't realize how close in this is. So let's bring this out just a little bit. I just do this in full 100% opacity. Just bring it out because it was like just, I didn't realize how close it was. So bring that out and you can see his face a little better now. That's much better in my opinion. And then we're gonna work on these eyes. So they're gonna go down like that and then over, and then this will go out a little bit more. Oh, let's turn this back down to 23 now, or 25 or whatever, and make this a little bigger. And then I'm gonna kind of work this color or this shape out of it and then work it in. I mean, I'm gonna just work on reshaping this and not explain it very well. So I'm gonna pick up this highlight here and add it to the inner eye here, just like that, and over. And we'll do the same here. He'll have just a little bit of highlighted eye area here. Just kind of adding some white and some black here to kind of bring out those bottom eyelids a bit. And then we're gonna work on, so he has this this lip here. We're going to work on like highlighting it. You can kind of see that area here, and then this will be in shadow a bit. And I'm going to bring this all down. And you can zoom out, make sure you're on track, and then you can zoom back in. This green color, I'm going to work a shadow in a little bit here and here. Kind of especially over here on this one. I'm going to work a pupil in. I'm going to turn my thing to like 60%. What I do, I take my mouse just so I can, I pick the exact thing I want. Let's make this harder. 60 is too much. So the point of doing the mouse is it's the exact color, or this exact size I want it to be for both, so we get an even pupil. While we're working on the eye, let's go to color dodge. Pick a nice, lovely, bright green. Let's turn this down to, 14 is good. Just kind of work in nice little glow there. And then we're going to turn it to normal. We're going to turn it like almost all the way up, like 72. We're going to put a little tiny highlight in here, and we're not going to shape it exactly like a circle. We're going to just kind of work it here, make the brush really small, and put a little bit of light here and a little bit of light here. Okay, and I'm actually gonna just, I know I said I wasn't gonna do a circle, but I'm gonna just circle like right over the eye. That just looks a little more interesting in my opinion. Move this back down to 23%. I'm gonna pick up some of the shadows, work them in the corners of the eyes a little bit. I'm gonna choose overlay. I hope I'm not, I never know if I go too fast here, but these videos are so long. I feel I have to kind of work through them and pick a little, choose overlay, work a little bit of red right into the corner of the eye. There and there. Okay, well, let's zoom this out. The eyes are a little bit wonky. I can fix this. Duplicate layer. Create clipping mask. Gonna move this one in a little bit. Select feather, transform, and move it in. There we go. That's lined up better. Oh, these little mistakes you see, they make me laugh. Oh, I'm on overlay. You don't want to forget to turn it back to normal when you've picked a brush color like that. I'm just going to fix that there. Pick a little highlight, work it in here, and that's looking pretty good. I want to finish it up now because I'm sure this is super long. So I'm going to add a few little highlighted areas here and here just to kind of give detail to the clothes. Some really highlighted area. In fact, over here I'm just going to add white. Push this along. Add a little bit here on this cream, and definitely over here on that thing. A little bit there on the clothes. Go up to the hair now, and I'm going to finish up some details there, and I think we'll call it good after that. So I'm on 23%. I'm going to pick just black and go in now. What's my hardness? Good. I'm at about 58%. And I'm just going to kind of put in some black here and here and here. We'll go ahead and throw this in here. And then if you want to be real fancy, oops, not that, you can kind of add you can pick this red up and go underneath. Let's just do it. Pick this red up underneath and go in and kind of add the hint of a shadow from the hair there. And we'll just kind of, I don't want to go too crazy here, so we're just going to kind of pick a nice little yellow, I guess. Go in and just add them where you think they need to go. If you want to really add just some quick little detail, make your brush really small, add some strands of hair like they're whipping around here, and then you can even do some light ones. A really small brush, like the hair is coming out like that and over like that. Okay, I think that's good. We're just going to call it there. I'm going to just throw in a quick background and make a few little minor details. You can see the changes here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you have a suggestion for a let's draw or let's paint or any of that, leave it in the comment section below. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in the next episode.